The official leaks for Chapter 27 are finally out, and there's one panel that's guaranteed to make you question everything. Like, what the hell just happened, and what's Bro gonna do next? Yeah, that's right. Just as we predicted, the Konoha Invasion Part 2 has officially begun, but not in the way you might expect. Jura has shown up in Konoha, and guess what? He's literally just chilling, eating a dango. Yeah, you know what a dango is, right? It's that traditional Japanese snack, soft, chewy rice balls, usually made from glutinous rice flour mixed with regular rice flour, boiled or steamed, often served on a skewer with all kinds of toppings, like mitarashi dango with that sweet salty soy glaze, or hanami dango with the 3 different colors. But anyway, in this leak, there are at least 4 scenes we can actually see. First off, Jura's just chilling with a dango in his hand while the villagers look kind of confused or surprised seeing him. But you can't lie. It's a calm yet tense moment, right? Next, there's a short conversation between Shikamaru and Inojin. Since the leaks are still in Japanese, I tried to look around for some translations and context on what's happening. In short, Inojin has returned to Konoha after making several deals with Koji, especially regarding Himawari. Judging from his expression, he's clearly shocked. Like, why the hell is Shikamaru letting Jura just sit there so casually inside the village? But yeah, it seems like Shikamaru doesn't really have any other choice. He's just monitoring Jura from a distance, waiting and watching his next move. Oh yeah, and he has also ordered the Konoha police not to be involved. That's more or less the brief conversation we got from this leak. But as usual, for the next 8 minutes or so, I've got a pretty interesting topic to break down. Let's just say it's more of a wild theory about Jura. And yeah, maybe it'll sound like total nonsense, but trust me, it's gonna be fun. That's just how it is. First and foremost, it seems we can consider this as the second part of the Konoha invasion. Perhaps in the initial second part of the Konoha invasion, we saw how Hidari and Jura entered through a door, or more precisely, the main gate of Konoha village. Since that arc, Jura seems to have been able to freely enter and leave Konoha. I mean, with several scenes that we can see, such as him coming to a bookstore to buy some books in Konoha, and also the scene in the leaked Chapter 27, it seems that the claw marks that should have been destroyed have not been completely removed. Yeah, even though this sounds unimportant or trivial, I think it could become a pretty dangerous situation in the future. Believe it or not, this could become a huge, unexpected threat to Konoha itself. Besides Jura, we have a villain who has a great ambition to destroy Boruto and his friends, including Konoha itself. And with evidence that in recent chapters, enemies can enter and leave through the claw mark inside the village of Konoha, there should be anticipatory measures to deal with this. Is that right? But anyway, besides that, there's another interesting point. Jura came to Konoha and casually ate a dango. I don't think this was a coincidence. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? It means that something big is definitely coming. However, as I predicted earlier, the question mark and curiosity remain. Is it already a week? Yeah, you know what I mean. If it's already time, Mamushi should already be in Konoha. But is he with Jura, or is there another scenario? Yeah, I have the answer. But disclaimer, guys, right or wrong, at least this makes sense to me. But if you have other analyses or perspectives, let me know, guys. So yeah, in Chapter 26, Koji Kashin did say that in about a week from now, Mamushi will head to Konoha, meaning it's like a narrative countdown as a sign that there will be a major movement from outside forces towards Konoha. And we know that now is Chapter 27. And actually, the time in the Boruto world is not explicitly explained between Chapters 26 and 27, which means whether it's been a week or not, yeah, you know what I mean? But based on these leaks and dialogues, it seems we can conclude that Chapter 27 hasn't reached a full week yet. And once again, this reasoning is based on the dialogue that points directly to Jura. Right now, Jura is still somewhere around Konoha, but he hasn't made any direct contact with the shinobi yet. He's just been observing, casually eating something while watching. In other words, if a week has already passed, there should have been a scene or dialogue showing that Mamushi has finally appeared, just as Koji predicted. After all, Koji's timing and prophecies have proven to be quite accurate, especially when it comes to the Shinju. However, in this chapter, what we see is Shikamaru and Inojin still in observation mode. They say, for now, let's just leave it be, meaning the situation is still unfolding. Because, believe it or not, usually after a week has passed, the dialogue will immediately link Jura's actions with Mamushi's arrival. For example, the dialogue would start with something like, Koji was right, he has started to move. But of course, I'm pretty sure this can still be debated, just like Mamoshiki's arrival that's supposed to happen later, right? Now, the problem is, the context of later here is still uncertain, whether it's in this chapter or the next one, because the main factor to consider here is the slow pace. Yeah, that's just how it is. However, to support this analysis, Shikamaru and Inojin's behavior seems to indicate that this is still the early phase of observation, and that's solid evidence. Meaning, with the slow pacing we know Boruto's story has, this already proves that it's not time yet. They've just started monitoring Jura through the sensory team. So logically speaking, this happens only a few days after chapter 26. Not a full week. Simply put, between chapter 26 and 27, the time that has passed is likely about 2 to 3 days. In other words, it hasn't even been a week yet. Mamushi will probably appear in chapter 28 or 29 once the timeline reaches that 1 week mark Koji mentioned. And the reason I'm so sure it hasn't been a week yet is because the pace of Boruto's story is slow. But as I said at the beginning, Jura's arrival is not random. Something big is coming. First, this is Jura's first step in observing or studying human behavior, especially with these two people whom I'm not sure if they're a couple or not. But the point is, since the last chapter, Jura has begun to understand the concept of control that Mamushi was referring to. At the very least, this is the first step for Jura himself. Secondly, even though we know Shikamaru ordered the Konoha police not to get involved with Jura inside the village, could there still be a provocateur? I mean, we know Kawaki's currently in Konoha, and even though Boruto's still in hiding, with a few toads carrying his metal, he could literally teleport there instantly, right? This means, will Boruto himself do something foolish and certainly forbidden by Koji for the second time? Because right now, he is truly following his own principles and way of thinking. In other words, even though Koji is currently giving Boruto instructions on what to do, he still has his own priorities. Especially don't forget about Kawaki. We know that he is stubborn and seems reckless. Moreover, he currently has quite overpowered strength. Kawaki's nature is harsh, and Konoha isn't his top priority. He doesn't care about the village, he doesn't care about the government, he doesn't care about anything except what's related to Naruto, like HIMAWARI. And the point of all this is, it would be exciting if Kawaki or even Boruto were the ones to make a surprise move that reignites the conflict. Yeah, you know what I mean? However, in the end, this is all just speculation and analysis from a Boruto addict. But if you have a more legitimate and reasonable theory, let's discuss it in the comments. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subs. I'm Nim without the E. See you in the next leak. Bye-bye. Data bio.